Good evening, folks. This is BestInSlot. We're back with Planet Zoo, back working on our franchise mode Zoo. Now we are starting a brand new area today. I've been a little bit busy. I'm going to show you what I've been up to in a moment. We're going to build a fairly simple exhibit in a bit, but we'll talk about that in a moment. First thing we're going to look at is the lion exhibit. Of course, we built a coliseum in the last video, and I've done all the sort of work around that as well. Nothing particularly special or anything. I've attached the path. The shop has been lined up and renamed to Prime Mense, which is, I believe, main course in Latin, and it's what the Romans would have called their main course. I thought that was, I need to put something there, I didn't realise. I thought that was fairly appropriate. I got a little lake there, got some trees, got a little staff only section down there, because it's quite a long staff only section, so I thought that was more appropriate than my usual stuff. And that is about it. It looks pretty Roman, I think. I think it's pretty cool. I know it's a little slice of Italy in the middle of Africa, but still, I think it's a pretty effective thing. I've called it the Amphitheatrum Flavium, which is what the Colosseum would have been called back in them times. I put my little fence all the way around the edge, and that is about it. They've all seemed to calm down. Nobody's tried to get out yet, anyway, so it seems like it's held. It's a shame about the glass, it really is. But not much we can do about that. So, I love that. Let's move on. We are, as I talked about in the last video, we're going to move on to Asia. Now, Asia's difficult because we know there is an East Asian theme coming with the full game. It's kind of like Japanese, Chinese, that kind of sort of Southeast Asia, blah, 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 kind of themed area. Unfortunately, it's not in the game quite yet. The only Asian theme we have is the Indian theme. Kind of like with this section where we don't have an African theme either, so I kind of had to make stuff up as I went along. However, I have started to piece something together. I've gone a little over the top with the foliage, as I am wont to do, but we'll see what you guys think. So if we head over here, you'll see we have a new sign now for the Silk Road. Now, the Silk Road was basically a network of trading routes decades ago, centuries ago, blah, 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 that sort of connected Southeast Asia and Eastern Asia with the West. And they were called the Silk Roads because one of the big things they traded, like one of the big luxury items traded along these roads, were garments of silk, essentially. I've got a great book on it called The Silk Roads, that's how it happens. Anyway, so the Silk Roads are down here, there they are, the Silk Road, and I really wanted to emphasize this feeling of entering, again, like a new world. That's kind of the idea. So I've taken all... Ooh, I've just punched the wall. I've taken all the trees from Asia. Everything's together. This is meant to be... Whilst the default architecture is Indian, I'm going to lean slightly Indian because that's the construction set we have. The idea is to take a hodgepodge of nature and items and ideals and animals from all over Asia and combine them together. Because that makes sense. It's the Silk Road. It's this trading hub. It's this massive people. I thought that was a pretty cool kind of little theme going on there. I really liked it. Plus, it means I can mess around with loads of trees. The Asian trees and the Asian plants are awesome. So much better than Africa. I love the African ones. The baobabs are great. But the Asian stuff is really, really cool. So I did go a little overboard here. But this is the Silk Road. There's your little entrance. Not as dramatic as Africa, but much more detailed and pretty, I think. I've got these little lights hung up. I've got some little elephants there. I really struggled with this. I stood here for about probably 2 hours trying to think about what I was going to build. I don't really want to build big Indian temples and stuff like that. That's not the architectural style we're going to be going for. It doesn't really suit it. But I did want a dramatic entrance. So I figured the Silk Roads have this trading city, this made-up, fantastical trading city where all these different cultures come together. And they're using sandstone, and they're maybe using some Indian influences in their design. And that's about it, really. So it doesn't have to be purely Indian, but it will be inspired by India, at least a little bit. But yeah, there we go, the Silk Road. So you head inside. There's some posters and stuff on the wall. I need to cover these bits up here. And I'll zoom out and spin around. I only realised after I finished this how remarkably similar this is to my African entrance. Like, you go in, and you walk to the left, and there's a little shopping area. I did put a lot more work into making it look pretty though, so the shopping area is a lot more advanced. Got a nice little picnic area. I'm not going to put an animal here, just so I'm not doing it identically to Africa. I will say I'm now pre-recording these videos ahead of time, trying to get as many exhibits as we can get done before the beta, whilst also ensuring they still look pretty nice, right? So I am going to probably spend a little less time on the stuff outside of the exhibits. I still want it to look really good, and I won't be able to live with myself if I don't. Like, I didn't have to go back and fix the lion exhibit, really. I just felt the need. But I do need to get some stuff done and out there, basically. So, here we go. Yeah, I thought this looks really nice. I'm going to leave, we've got the carts and the barrels and the pots and pans, and whilst these are Indian as part of that theme, they kind of suit that trading network sort of feel, right? That's what we're going for. I want it to feel like a trading cup, so we're going to leave stuff absolutely blimmin' everywhere, basically. And I want vines crawling over and just this alive, kind of like Dawn a little bit in Game of Thrones, right? I know Dawn sucks in the TV program at least. But, yeah, something like that. Right, so cool. So what we're going to do today, as per usual, with a new zone, we're going to build something moderately simple. I don't really want to go over the top. We're going to build a peacock. Peafowl, I should say. A peafowl exhibit. It's going to be a walkthrough exhibit. And it's just going to be a nice garden, essentially. It's going to be a peafowl garden. We're going to build a fountain, because I've not built a fountain yet in this game, so I want to give that a go. And it's just going to be a nice walkthrough garden exhibit. You're going to walk through here, it's going to take up all this bit, and then you're going to come back and join in with the path, and then that's going to push this way because this is the end of the map. So this whole area here will be just a nice little walkthrough garden, and it'll, hit the end, and that's going to look pretty cool, I think. That's about it, folks. Ready to go, basically. Ready to go. Let's get a move on. I'm just going to kill that. Right, so first thing we need to do is we're going to put in our barrier. Now, I am tempted by the hedge. I don't know how it's going to fit in terms of the colours. I know that the hedge is very appropriate for... I think that's okay, actually. Yeah, let's go for a little bit of a hedge. It's kind of perfect for the peafowl, right? That's the first thing you think of, really, is a hedge maze sort of looking thing. I know that was kind of what they used on the campaign map for the peafowl, was the hedge. So I think we'll go for the hedge. I'm just going to do a nice... get some curve on it. I think I'm going to shorten this quite a lot. I like the hedge. It's an idea, but I don't really want to go over the top of it. Just take that to the edge, and then I'm going to bring this over here. Bring this over here. It'd be nice if, as you're walking along this bit, you also get to look into the garden as well. Although, maybe instead, what we do is we make the hedge huge. And that way, it's like a secret garden kind of thing. This is quite a big exhibit for some peafowl. It's not just about the peafowl though. It is about, the general garden aesthetic kind of thing that we're going for, right? I'm definitely going to pull this down a little bit. Yeah, I think that works really well with these trees. Like I said, we're not... I say this because in my head, India, because of like the architecture we're given, it's very dry and that kind of thing. But in reality, India does have, beautiful rainforests and jungle and all this kind of stuff, and vivid plant life. It doesn't have to be represented as this sort of dry, homogeneous location. Okay, right, this is going to be a lot of space. So, I want, I'm thinking you come in, you go like this, and you go like this, and you go like that, right? So this, or maybe you do a loop. Can we do a loop? We can't really do a loop. You can go like that, but that's stupid. So it's going to be more like... So I want a big... I've never really made a fountain. Let's see if we can build a fountain. Let's get rid of these filters. Fountain. How does this work? Even the big one is fairly small. Oh, that one's not a bad size. I think this is wet by default, right? It's moist by default, I should say. Should I say any of those? I don't know if I should say that either. It's full of water by default. Let's go with that. That makes more sense. There we go. Hey, we've got some slightly longer time-lapse clips in this video. This one and the one later one's even longer. So I figured I'd talk over the top of them. Just in case. You can, of course, skip forward again. We're basically going to put together the fountain. It's weird. This whole video I've cut down to about 33 minutes. That's going to be about the final runtime. And yet... Okay, my screen has frozen, so I have to pretend I know what's going on. So I'll just talk in general, I guess. This was actually one of the hardest exhibits to build for some reason. It looks super simple, and the end result is super simple. But for some reason, so much trial and error went into just the fountain alone and the general exhibit design, but it took me like 3 hours or something to build this really simple thing. And yet the final video ends up really short, just because I don't think there's a lot here that needs to be in the video necessarily. So there's going to be some cuts and there's going to be some time lapses, but what we end up with is pretty cool. The fountain doesn't look good for a little while. I've not really had any experience with fountains in this game. I've not really messed around with fountains that much. And I will say, by this point in time, having just spent so long building that opening area to the Silk Road, I was kind of feeling a little bit of pressure to get the next videos done and start, you know, because I wanted some Planet Zoo content for you guys for this week and also early next week. So I couldn't spend a billion years doing everything. I cannot wait for the full game to come out. I don't have to worry about this anymore. The point is, I was struggling a little with the fountain. It's not something I'd made before, and not something I had particular experience with. And my problem with it at this stage really is more that it looks very British, right? It looks, you know, it's got a very classical British / a little bit of French look to it. You know, it doesn't look Indian, it doesn't look Asian, it doesn't really look like it fits in at all. Now, throughout this video, shut up outside world, throughout this video I am going to come up with 2 alternate methods of just doing things to the fountain and in the area that make it blend in a little bit better. I do think it makes a big difference. Okay, it definitely needs more Asia, but I think once we bring in the trees and stuff like that and some signs and stuff, we have to do that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little sign in, right, saying it's a gift from the British Embassy. Okay, that's how we're gonna justify all this. I like that idea actually. How are we feeling? We good? Really? Animal's too hot. I find that hard to believe. Do you want it lower than that? I mean, 0 in the middle, and yeah, I don't know. We'll go down to like 23, 24 range. Actually, we can check, can't we? What's their preferred temperature range? Indian peafowl, where are you, my friend? I can't spell. Let's find out. They're 3 to 30. I'm surprised they're complaining. Oh, I know the problem here, though. That is... unfortunately, we have too many hippos. Right, we can pause this again now, anyway. I always live in pause mode. What are we doing here? Fabiti, Femi. So Femi or Mwanwana has to go. Now, Mwanwana is getting a little bit old, but she is better than Femi. Well, Femi is 28 years younger. 66% facility versus... yeah, I mean, in the stats that matter, it's fine. Mwanawa. You have been in my park for a long time, girl. I'm gonna miss you. You've done well, kid. You've done well. You've popped out many lovely babies for me. I really appreciate that. I kind of need the points as well, because we spent a lot recently. She is going to be worth a lot. Yeah, screw it. That's fine. I don't really want to gouge the market any more than people already are. Even that price could be, you know, lower fairly justifiably, I think. But, gotta get paid, son. Gotta get paid. Right, this is taking me way longer than I thought it was going to, which is fun for the whole family. Let's go ahead and grab a wall floor thing over here. I just want to click that. There we go. Just want to build like a little shelter, basically. I'm going to do a outside bit like this. We're going to make it fairly big because there is going to be, the idea is, or the hope, is that there's going to be a decent number of animals in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me think about this. As dangerous as that sounds, I know. Yeah, I think we're just going to do it this size, and then we'll move the cooler inside, and we'll do the middle bit of this in the glass that I'm trying to use. And we'll put some pillars in, blah, 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 blah. We'll make it all cool. Because cool things are cool. We need glass. Specifically... that stuff. Do you have auto stock on? Is that why this is going crazy? Yeah. There we go. Nice, what will eventually be an interesting looking modern shelter. Right now it's a little bit on the boring side, but that's okay. It will be interesting, and it does provide shelter, more importantly. No matter what, they have some shelter. I just need to Asia it up a little bit. I'm not convinced about this little peacock over here. I think it's mainly the base that I don't like, though, I must say. So for some reason it's part of this over here. Which is not the intention. No, I don't know. I think that's probably okay. I think that's kind of cool, actually. Never mind. I take it back. I'm sorry, peacocks. Please forgive me. It's a nice way of saying it's the peacock exhibit without, you know, having to actually say it somewhere. Yeah, I want to do a little sign. I like this idea a lot. Let's make a little sign. Make a little sign. I want like a plaque, you know? A placard. I might actually just put it there. It doesn't need to glow. The other signs all kind of light up at night, and it's not something I really want right now. But I want it to look cool as well. Because cool things are cool. I think the Indian sign is... no, but the Indian sign's got this little tab on it. What about the classic one? I mean, that's not a terrible idea. How do you edit this? What does the text look like? God, that's awful. Because the game doesn't do like multi-layered text, like it doesn't do separate lines. A vertical sign is just a terrible idea. I'm going to put this in, because it is British, the feel that we're trying to go for here. We'll use an Indian signpost. Brought that down. Put a little sign in front of it. Yeah, I like that. Donated by the British Embassy. It's in this. Okay, there we go. The classic fountain has been somewhat justified. Unless you're walking through, looking at the peafowl, you get to see them up there, and you get to see the fountain, and you're like, oh, that explains it, okay? Okay, it's all coming together. And it makes sense with this kind of like multicultural opposite of homogeny. It's this mixing pot of a culture that we're building here in this little random town. So the chances are they could have easily had a run-in with the British Embassy. That's okay. I don't hate that. I actually quite like that. I think the gold... I think if it's gold detailing, it's like little extras of gold, it's going to blend it in, the sandstone. It's going to blend it in better without overwhelming the pattern that we already have. What I'm going to do is remove these, and we're going to add these ones instead. We're going to stick angle lock on, actually, is what we're going to do. Come on, there we go. I think that's going to look really cool, actually. Let's put these on every side. I think it needs that slightly more subtle approach. These needs digging in, though. They're all... Some of them floating, some of them are just too far out, but either way, they need cutting in about halfway, I would say. This is it. It's meant to be like a, you know, a collaboration maybe, or like a, I don't know, something that symbolizes the. I really like that, the unity between the two nations. They are all basically in the wrong place. It must be said. Yeah, you need to come down about there. You need to come down and to the right a little bit. You know, it's the Silk Road and in this case Britain. It's like a Statue of Liberty. I don't know. The point is, it's the Silk Road and Britain, and they've come together. The Silk Road, whatever the city is called, we're going to have to come up with a name for the actual city. And they've come together to build this lovely fountain that represents the combining of their cultures. I really like that. I think that's kind of pretty. I'm thinking like some little detail on there, maybe. Oh, you're a cheeky one, aren't you? Let's rotate you around. Come on. I really like this. This is really starting to come together for me. it breaks up that white as well, which is, it's kind of overbearing, I would say. I just want to... Oh no. Oh no. You're not going to let me do it, right? Just... You know what, I don't need to click that one. It's fine. I'll go through it again. We're going to go over here. Stupid game. Rotate up. Little bit more. Rotate to the side. Rotate to the side. Rotate to the side. Cut out part of video while I go check my United score. 0-0 at half time. Not a great result so far for United. That brings me much joy. Moving on. That's not central. I've just realised how not central that is. That's crazy not central. I have to move everything. There we go. Oh, that looked better. Those little hints of sandstone. It's really brought it alive for me. Big improvement. You are not still low welfare. Stop complaining, Femi. Oh, Femi's got herself stuck on the rock. Alright, I'm going to move the rock out of the way, Fem. There you go. Nope. Okay. Femi will be fine. She's just being stupid. Okay, right. Can we add even more? What about this? Not there, obviously, but if I then bring this down, so it's like that. I never know if something's too much. There's no way to know if something's too much without trying. No, that's not going to fit, though. What about these, but along the bottom? Along this ridge here. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. I actually really like it. I wish there was more of these. I'd like to cover the whole thing. And hello. You gonna have a little drink from the fountain? No? Just being chill? That's cool. That's cool. Ah, oh, bloody lemurs. It's gonna be a problem forever. And I'll never know if one of my animals escapes or not. Anyways, right, yeah, I'm struggling with this exhibit way more than I thought it would. I'm not gonna lie. But we're gonna get there, folks. We're gonna get there. Looks like little paddles. I want to put something underneath here to suggest there's a reason it's a fountain, you know? Even if it's just them. That's fine. It's just, there should be something there. Okay, we're getting there. I didn't really intend this to be such a big deal, but it has kind of become like this big centerpiece that I now want to perfect, if possible. How big do these go? I want a huge one. Not big enough. I can't really even trim this just because of the material we've used. No, he hasn't. Get over it. Is that over the top? Yeah, probably. Is that over the top? Oh, she's running over it! I like that! On the edge of the fountain. Okay, I think I can probably do some more with that, but I've been working on this fountain to basically no avail for an impossibly long time now, and I'd like to move on. So, the only major thing that needs doing really is like the tree work and some detailing on that building. So we're gonna do the nature bit. The nature bit's the important bit. No offense to everything else, but nature is all I care about. Right, we're gonna use, what type of rock are we gonna use? Okay, we're going to do the same again, because as with the last time lapse, this is definitely one of the longer ones I've included in any of these videos, and it is just because A, I wanted to bring the length of the video down, and B, I was a little bit sick whilst recording this video. You may have noticed last, say, 10 minutes or so, my voice was quite quiet, I wasn't talking that much. A, I was getting a little frustrated, I'm not going to lie, but I was definitely feeling it a little bit, lack of sleep and stuff like that, you know. I've talked to some other Planet Zoo YouTubers. A lot of us put a lot of hours into this beta just to get content out, really. It's really important to sort of be at the forefront of a game when it first comes out. And the beta is included in that. I've seen some incredible stuff other people have done, and for once I'm not feeling bad about it. I'm inspired to do better. So anyways, yeah, so I want to cut this video down and cut out some of me just going and the kind of, you know, monotone droning that I've bored you with for the last 10 minutes, basically. I am recording this the day of the upload, so it's the 10th of the 10th for me. And this is basically going to be sticking down loads of rocks, loads of trees and such. I hate that tree that you just saw on the left. There is a bunch of trees on the map that you simply can't get rid of, no matter what you do, and it is infuriating. I don't understand why, as a design decision that was taken. It's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. World. Sure, I've got to start recording these videos in the middle of the day. And the shelter's going to get a little bit of love as well, because the shelter does look a tad on the boring side, to say the least. That said, my time-lapse is jumping forward a lot here, and I have not seen anything change quite yet, so the whole thing does end up looking pretty cool. I hope. I do like this Silk Road idea. I'm a little worried that I've, just to go off about random things, obviously the beta is over now, ended a couple of days ago, and the game itself is coming out in just under a month, in 25 days, something like that. 30 days, half September, April, June, 26 days. And I put a lot of inspiration into the Spark. A lot of my ideas, you know, Panagar and the Silk Road, the Colosseum, stuff like that, were things I really, really liked. And I don't really want to do Panagar again. I like the idea of doing the Silk Road again. I had big plans for this area that we couldn't really do. I think we're probably going to end up rebuilding the Colosseum. I'm a little worried I've like burned through all my inspiration. One thing I want to talk to you guys about now, very briefly. I guess we've got a couple of minutes of this time-lapse-ish. I do mention this in the final episode. That's on Tuesday. We do a full park tour. It goes on for like an hour. I just, you know, walk around the park, basically. I really should have done like a cinematic one. Anyways, what do we do when the game comes out? Like, what is the plan? I'm thinking, so my current train of thought is this. I'm going to do a campaign playthrough, of course. I'm going to then go into franchise mode, probably offline franchise mode if I'm honest. No, maybe not. I don't know if it's franchise or sandbox yet. I haven't decided. We're going to go into franchise or sandbox. And I think my plan at the moment, one thing I like is we've got all these different biomes, right? So what I was thinking is we'll pick a biome for each country and then we'll build a zoo in that country, only with animals from that country. So our Asian zoo will only have Asian animals, and we'll have different areas themed around those animals, blah, 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 blah. Because I think there's enough animals from each area to justify that. And then we'll do like a central zoo in Europe where the babies from those other zoos come to feed, and that's like a global zoo. Anyways, this is over. I've got to go. I've got to run. Sink some bamboo in there. The nettles, I should say. Oh, I really like this bush. What needs this bush? There we go. Okay, that's enough. Stop it. Stop it. I can't resist. I just cannot resist. I just see these little dead areas. Like, it's not like everywhere needs foliage, but I think everywhere needs a little something, right? If it's just like a sprig of grass propping up, just so it looks a little bit more interesting. Everywhere deserves a little bit of love, folks. Yeah, it's not the best fountain in the world, it's not the most exciting fountain in the world, but I think going any further than what we've already done would probably ruin it anyway. I think it needs to be fairly subdued in order to function. It's not a centerpiece of a big plaza or anything, it's part of a garden in a zoo, you know, it's in an exhibit, you know, it's definitely not meant to be a big shebang, which is good, because it's not a big shebang. Let's say facility inaccessible. Oh. Oh. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that fixed that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a low-key start, right? Which is what I really wanted. I always want to begin with something fairly chill, and, you know, the peafowl is the pretty perfect representation of that. I don't think it looks overly British either, which is really what I was trying to avoid, given the fountain and everything. I think the shelter looks pretty nice. They could do with maybe a little bit of height. I might consider putting like a back wall here and building it up a little, but generally speaking I'm pretty happy with it. Are you guys happy? 86%, that's pretty good. I know the plants are less than ideal. I also like the idea of this. This is, obviously, I mean, I'm trying to go for the Silk Road kind of idea in general, but the idea that as you're walking through, there'll be a couple of guys here, you know, selling fruit and stuff and just part of the exhibit. I mean, they're not part of the exhibit, that'd be weird, but they are, you know, they're just selling things as part of it. I figure at this point they're already 0% happiness in terms of the I really like this wisteria. I was going to use this actually, wasn't I? They're already 0% happiness, so we may as well just lean into it, I think. I'm still not sure if I ever like that stuff, but it's interesting at the very least. I like interesting things that are interesting. That's top tip right there, folks. I love them. I love them. Asia has bushes. Asia is so cool. Asia is so much better. I'm sorry, Africa. Africa, if you're watching this video, I apologise. I really do. But Asia has made you look kind of stupid. It's just so much more stuff. The variety in plant life is so much more exciting. And that makes sense in a lot of ways, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying... I'm not trying to be too harsh on good old Africa here, but it makes a big difference. It really does. Right then, I've just spent another 10 minutes doing foliage. Thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Next video then, snow leopard, bears, something. I haven't decided quite yet what it is going to be, but it's going to be something cool and something that we've not seen before. I really want to do a Formosan black bear exhibit, so that's where I'm leaning right now, but it will depend on... I don't know, actually, what that would depend on. That's definitely what I'm leaning towards. I need something that I've come up with an idea for, though, so it'll depend, you know, what gimmick I can think of and stuff like that, but I'm leaning towards the black bear just because they are adorable and we haven't got to play with one in a long time. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit the like button if you are enjoying these videos, and if you appreciate, you know, I did all this work pre-recording so I could keep these videos going even when the beta ends. If you think that's pretty cool, hit the like button. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.